gotten dressed and was on my way to the kitchen to make some coffee.
I was shaving, I guess, in the bathroom.
And we have a back staircase from the bedroom areas. And I always come down that staircase, and I'm usually the first one down. And the note was lying across the run of one of the stair treads. And it was kind of dimly lit. It was just very early in the morning. And I started to read it, and it was addressed to John.
This 911 call could not be faked. There's too much desperation and too much adrenaline in a call like this. Someday, try to breathe along with Patsy Ramsey for the duration of this 911 call. It's extremely difficult to do.
Okay, what's your name? Are you Patsy Ramsey? I'm the mother. Oh my God! Please. Okay, I'm setting it off the phone, okay? Do you know how long she's been gone? Oh my God. Please, we just got out. Is you are here? Oh my God, please. Okay, I am, honey. Please. Take a deep breath. Please, hurry. Patsy. Patsy.
3 different police officers said there was no forced entry. That leaves 3 remaining people in the house: John, Patsy, and Burke. Burke was 9 years old at the time, not sophisticated enough to write that kind of ransom note or to kill his sister in such a brutal way in that time. It comes down to 2 people, John and Patsy. And where did all the evidence point?
And you resigned because?
Because I felt that Patsy was involved in this death, in this tragedy.
She wrote the note.
I do.
You base that on?
I do. I base that on Question Document Examiner. You admit now, do you not, that it was your paintbrush that was used? Do you admit that?
I don't know.
Steve, well, no, I care. A bedwetting or a toileting issue.
Caused Patsy to get mad at her daughter.
Absolutely.
And say slap her or hit her or...
I don't know. I'm suggesting that there was an explosive encounter.
And then...
You were staged, mother?
Probably. What's wrong with
You could
that?
have been arrested in this case.
I wish I had been, and then we would have had a free and fair trial, and you would have met your Waterloo, Mr. Thomas.
You know what? This isn't, we're not going to solve this tonight, and I refuse to have a Jerry Springer type exchange with us, man.
That doesn't have duct tape because it repairs.
Well, I never liked it because it's so gooey. I mean, gooey.
Right now, we have in the process of being examined trace evidence that appears to link you to the death of JonBenet. What would you tell me?
Tell me to get a retest.
How is it possible?
I did not kill my child. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Scientific evidence.
I don't give a flying flip how scientific it is. Go back to the damn drawing board. I didn't do it. Okay? We're not involved. Read my lips. Let's find out who it is. You know, quit screwing around asking me about things that are ridiculous. Let's find the person that did this.
The defiance, the swagger, the feistiness, it got people thinking, there is no way this woman killed her daughter. But little did she know, her husband did, and framed her too. Have you ever wondered why there are two forms of murder in this case? One's the real murder, and one directly links Patsy. Did you ever wonder why the ransom note was left in the back of the house, right where Patsy would find it, from her notebook, with her Sharpie? If someone takes all night to copy the letters from Patsy's notebook where the ransom note came from, it's probably going to look like Patsy's. And who is that ransom note addressed to? Mr. Ramsey, John, as if John is being written to instead of the writer. This is by design. The last paragraph in the ransom note is most telling. The author is really trying to sell us it's not John writing. Don't try to grow a brain, John. Don't underestimate us, John. It's up to you now, John. Then you got this line. Use that southern common sense of yours, which leads you to believe that Patsy is writing. All of these things directly link Patsy. Now take a look at this. At first glance, doesn't it look like the ransom note? Take a look at what John Ramsey's doing here. It seems like he's looking down at a note card that he's using for this event. Are these the words from the previous document? A lot of these words look similar to the ransom note. And you can't tell me, after seeing both of these, that John couldn't possibly be the writer of the ransom note. Isn't handwriting analysis subjective? And can they be bought off? Why was John Ramsey so quickly dismissed as the writer of this ransom note?
1 p.m. Although the house had already been searched by patrolmen before she arrived, Arndt says that in order to break the building tension, she asked John Ramsey and his friend Fleet White to search the house again, top to bottom, looking for anything out of place. She says she gave them specific instructions not to touch anything. She says John Ramsey headed straight to the basement. She heard Fleet White scream for an ambulance, and then a chilling discovery. For Arndt, the pieces of the puzzle fell into place.
And I see John Ramsey carrying JonBenet up the last 3 steps from the basement. And my mind exploded. And everything that I had noted that morning that stuck out instantly made sense. And JonBenet was clearly dead. And she's been dead for a while. I ordered him to put JonBenet down. I knelt next to her and I leaned down to her face. And John leaned down opposite me. And his face was just inches from mine. And we had a nonverbal exchange that I will never forget. And he asked if she was dead. And I said, yes, she's dead. And I told him to go back to the room and to dial 911. And as we looked at each other, I remember, and I wore a shoulder holster, tucking my gun right next to me and consciously counting, I've got 18 bullets.
Why did you do that?
Because I didn't know if we'd all be alive when people showed up. I said everything made sense in that instance. And I knew what happened.
Do you think your fear was well-founded?
You bet I do. There's no doubt in my mind.
To this day?
Never wavered.
You were afraid because you thought the killer was still in the house.
I knew it.
There. How about that, Mr. Fung?
Don't forget, we were just coming off the super publicized trial of the century, where a major point of contention was someone throwing a blanket over Nicole Brown Simpson's dead body, contaminating the crime scene.
1:10 p.m., Detective Arndt moved JonBenet's body from the hallway to the living room.
John Ramsey came back into the living room. And he grabbed a throw that was on the back of a chair. And he says, could you please cover her body? And as he's saying it, he's already put the blanket on top of her.
Arndt would later be harshly criticized for two key decisions: asking John Ramsey to search the house and allowing John Ramsey to place the blanket on JonBenet's body.
You had to know that that was going to contaminate evidence.
JonBenet's body was in and of itself a crime scene. Would it be nice if John hadn't found JonBenet? Absolutely. And would it be nice if he hadn't put a blanket? Yeah, it would be great. And it would be nice if there were other people to help control and keep people away. That would have been wonderful. But that's not the circumstances that I had available that day.
It's all making sense now. Point all the evidence at Patsy and contaminate the crime scene. Then they can't convict either of you. The only person that John had to fool that morning was Patsy Ramsey. Then he had to get out of that house, get to his high-priced lawyers, and get out of town. That's exactly what happened.
Ramsey got on the phone right after his daughter's body was found to his pilot to get him out of town. I mean, JonBenet's body's lying under the Christmas tree.
It was reported that shortly after you found your daughter's body, that you called the pilot of your plane to arrange a flight to Atlanta. Is that true?
I did. Police took the house over. We had nowhere to go. We wanted to go home.
I was there. I know Patsy. I've lived with her for 20 years. I know that she loved that child more than anything in the world.
Well, will you agree, Patsy?
As my mother always said, money talks. The problem with that is, when all these high-priced lawyers get involved, you start believing your own lies.
Investigators weren't great to it. In fact, I told our attorneys early on, I said, let them charge us. Let's just go to court and duke this out. And they said, you shouldn't have to go through that. We will destroy them in court, no question, but you shouldn't have to go through that.
Of course, you need a perfect storm of luck to pull this off. So then this guy walks in. Look who's interrogating John Ramsey. Comes up with a theory that only helps John Ramsey. Throws this case into a side spin for years. Then you had this guy that looked like he was walking on the highway at rush hour, like a human frogger. Then this lady put the coup de grace on anyone getting arrested in this case.
Hey, what's your name? Are you Kathy Ramsey? I'm the trapper. Oh my God.
Until the day we die, we'll be looking for the person that murdered our daughter.
Her mother did go to her grave looking for who killed her daughter, when he was there all along. Poor JonBenet. And her mother was the perfect Patsy.